recommend going live like 10 to 15 minutes before you're actually doing anything so people can find it anyways.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's smart. So
yeah.
we can always just set it up first and then
Sort of just
hang out for a while.
Banter for 10 minutes.
Banter. This is the podcast side of the rehearsal. We're bantering. All the test stuff.
Okay, so we're getting some here. There.
I'm so excited.
Now everyone can see that I have way too many tabs open.
Oh. Yep. It's my life. And I usually have multiple windows open too, because I have different accounts open at the same time. It's like, which profile do you want? Multiple open simultaneously. We're checking to see if we can find us. Yay!
Yep, we are up.
It works.
Live. Okay. So if you wanted, this might be really like distracting, but
Oh, to see myself there, yeah, very.
the other thing is also that what is nice about it is that we can sort of see it as like a monitor, but there's always going to be like a delay of like whatever it is that everybody else sees.
Sure.
But we can also come in here and sort of check out the chat if anyone is chatting.
Oh, that's a great idea.
We'll go ahead and subscribe to your channel from the Rehearsal Insiders channel.
Oh, sure. Oh, nice. I love this.
Okay, so the other thing is that the lights might change every so once in a while, so just don't be freaked out by that. The color will change to like something else. Which it doesn't normally do after I think like 6 p.m.
Okay.
So like it helps me keep focused and like remind me that I have to.
Really?
Keep
You set it on a
things.
timer?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
cool. That's very.
It's just like it just reminds me that like I'm supposed to be doing something. Because otherwise I find that like I'll start editing something and I'll be like, oh, I could change this very small parameter that nobody else will ever notice in like the mix or whatever it is. So I find it helps me from like getting too hyper focused in the bad way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'll practice like the same like measure of music like a billion times, and then I'll never actually like put it into context.
This is such a good topic. Is basically performance practice, mindfulness. You know, setting timers, setting goals, setting limits for ourselves.
It's like it's practicality and like sort of like the limits to like what we can actually like focus is like
talking to you. Maybe I should put the volumes on in case something else like that comes up.
Yeah, okay, so it's back here.
Cool.
Okay. Yes, the color has changed.
Yes, it has. It's blue now.
Okay.
And interesting. It's not quite.
So it might be pixelated on this end. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's just because we're both using the same internet.
Okay.
And it's showing us like a really low quality stream, which is fine for this
Totally
because
fine.
I think it should be looking fine for everybody else at home.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we play some music?
Yay! Let's play that music. Play that funky music, white boy.
Find like a Renaissance arrangement of that.
Okay, make one. I dare you.
It would be pretty interesting.
Is it appropriate these days to even mention your color? Yes. Is it appropriate? Thy hand, Belinda. Cool. Which one do you have? You want to start with that?
Kind of think so.
Okay.
This prelude that I found, one of the many Dowland preludes, is actually very, very similar. It's got the, I think they call this the lacrimae theme. Appears, and it appears in like all of the different sort of variations that Dowland wrote of this piece, because everyone was like, Dowland, this piece is so good, just keep writing it in
Over
different
and over
versions.
and over again.
And he's like, okay. So I think there's probably sections of this that would work well as an intro, and I just haven't figured out how to do it quite right, because this wouldn't actually be an issue on the lute, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But essentially, like, it would work as
Can you take? Oh, is it gonna? Can you press the button, the white one? Thanks. That's teamwork.
I'm not sure how well you'll be able to follow it necessarily, but I guess it would be 5, 6, 7. So it's 6 measures of intro, where when I play this 5 chord, and then this would theoretically be the measure 1 of the song. So like your entrance would be. The reason why it wouldn't actually be an issue if I was playing this on a lute is because the lute has like courses, so like all of the notes are kind of doubled up and down an octave, whereas essentially this intro would end, I think, on the note that you sing, whereas I actually only play in the lute part an octave below what you sing. So what I was doing to make the resolution was just to add the top note.
Okay, so it's these first.
It's basically
2.5 bars. Oh, 5 bars it says, but I see only. Okay, sure.
It's actually 6 bars.
Funny.
So it's the first measure of the second system.
Yeah.
It's basically the downbeat of the second measure of the second system is your entrance, if that makes sense. So it's here. Sorry, that one right.
Okay. But okay, let's hear it. I could listen to it longer. Can you keep going?
I can play, yeah. It's a really beautiful piece,
it's so
and
beautiful.
it's also not super long. So
yeah.
I'll take it from measure 5.
Sure. play
the whole prelude. Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, I love it. It's
so
beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's like I'm trying to come up with like sort of ornaments, but like it's so well like written and like I really love how like the intro. There's so much more like space. And then it like starts to like pick up and become like more ornate, but like the more ornate parts are really great because like you can sort of speed up and slow down and it fits like the prelude sort of vibe really, really well.
Yeah, you can be very free with it and choose your tempi.
Did you know that
Did you know?
Preludes were actually written a lot for the lute as sort of these sort of spacious quasi-improvisatory sort of like forms, so that the lutenist could basically be up on stage tuning during the performance. So that's what the prelude is really for.
Because the strings, the gut strings, untuned themselves so consistently that they needed to retune. Yeah,
the idea is that like they wouldn't be like going up on stage and like tuning before playing. Yeah. They go up,
play and tune and then, as like, they play.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
I can do parts of it. It's kind of tricky because when you're working with capos, sometimes like the string you'll like adjust tuning and like it won't react until like you really.
Why are we using capo?
So we're using capo. It does a couple of things. One is that like the lute naturally had like a shorter scale. It was actually closer to the 3rd fret.
Okay.
But essentially, like it gives it sort of a brighter sound, and a lot of the stretches that are written in the parts here are much more difficult if you don't have this capo, because it makes some of the stretches get they'll go from this rather than that.
Okay. Because the board.
Yeah, because as you get higher up, it gets smaller and smaller. So the other thing about it is that it actually also shortening the scale length of the guitar also shortens the sustain of the guitar, which actually makes it more like a lute.
Because it cuts off the sound sooner.
Yeah, it doesn't resonate
less
as
ringing
long.
Resonance. Okay.
And it also feels a little bit softer. So there's something about the sound that like it feels more similar to a lute to me, sort of just all around.
Want to try? Do you want to play that whole thing again? Do you want to try a couple bars before then we would start the piece?
Sure. How about I'll take it from the 3rd last measure. So it's the second, the last measure of the second last system. Yeah. I mean, I guess when I end on this, you'll know that it's you'll know when the ending happens.
It's like red lights flashing. From your spring verse. Down the vein lights shine you no more. No nights are dark enough for those that in despair their lost fortunes deplore. Light doth but shade its rose. Never may my woes be relieved, since pity is fled, and tears and sighs and groans my weary days, my weary days of our joys have deprived. Or I again. From the highest spire of contentment, my fortune is flown, and fear and grief and pain for my deserts, for my deserts are my hopes, since hope is gone. Hark, you shadows in that darkness dwell, learn to condemn light. Happy, happy they that in hell feel not the world's despite. Hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell, learn to condemn light. Happy, happy they that in hell feel not the world's despite. One thing I keep thinking about is the transitions between these different sections. I'm like, how do we want to take Tempe there? Do we want to run it through? Do we want to make a new section?
It's something that was interesting actually in it's one of the Sting versions actually. He did a it was one of the sections. I'm not sure that it was this song.
Yeah.
But there was a section where like Dowland writes in. They're at what would be measure 14. And like basically all the cadences do this, where essentially the singer just has like a whole note written.
Yeah.
And then the lute does some kind of fancy ornament. Which obviously, like, it works. It could be played that way, but Sting actually did a vocal ornamentation and then had the lute basically play like whatever the chord was. So essentially, like the lute was playing a whole note, and then the vocal part
was doing
the fast. Yeah. Basically, the vocal part did the shred. It's totally fine with me to do either. I think they both sound great. But I know that depending on if you'd like to use it as like a breath. Yeah.
I would never hold the whole note, the whole bar anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it really makes that much sense to really hold it the whole time anyways. So.
Well, and what's nice is with you doing the ornamentation underneath, you can then change the tempo for us. You could change it to anything based on what you do there.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have this in my mind that I almost want to do that whole last section like cut time.
Okay.
And
yeah, that's
do it fast, you know, and then when we go back to the repeat, like try it slowly. That could be cool.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So I wonder what is the easiest way of doing that. So if we wanted to try, so if you wanted to do that section, which should be measure 8. Correct?
At the beginning. Mm-hmm.
Basically
I was talking about this.
Oh, okay.
The last, yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we could try that. I was thinking of the major section.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Being faster. Not that it needs to be, but we could definitely try that one at double time. Yeah, you want to try it?
I just think about jazz music, and I'm like, you can just switch from this one to the other like that.
And they do also in this style as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much people do it with Dowland, but there are like sections in Dowland songs where like it's just a measure that seems like it's in double time. So like if he did it, why can't we?
Why can't
right? Why can't we at least try it anyways?
Yeah.
Did you want to try it from measure 15?
Sure. Maybe a couple bars. Where's easiest for you to?
Well, I can take it from maybe the top of that page.
Sure.
Or actually, the sequence starts the measure before, which is so satisfying to play.
Yes, it is.
Like I can play it
10? From 10?
Yeah, 10. Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah, sure. And tears and sighs and pain, my desserts for my desserts are my hope since hope is gone. Hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell. So is that, can you try that bar 14? Like double the, maybe. Yeah.
I think we could actually do the double time right at measure 15 rather than like speeding up the cadence at 14. So if it was
hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell, learn to condemn light. Let's try it again.
Yeah, I think I have to. Oh, that's why, because I'm.
Learn to condemn.
Yeah, so I could do that double time. I think I just drop a couple of the extra notes.
All of a sudden do everything
Yeah.
twice the tempo. All of those, like 36 notes.
Yeah, I probably could do the whole thing. The only thing I don't want to drop is that descending bass line. The descending chromatic bass line, because it's so... which would have to be...
Let's just hear how fast you can push this section without choosing anything in particular, and then we can go from there. Just...
Okay, because I think I could probably... So the... Oh, that's why. Okay, so I was doing the rhythm wrong. In my sort of mental rearrangement, I was putting the... I thought dark fell on beat 3, but it actually falls on beat 2, which is why I sort of just disappeared for the measure.
Okay.
You would be... if we started from hark.
Sure.
Measure 15.
No, that's not enough. Sure.
Oh, sorry, because yeah, sorry. F.
It's okay.
F natural. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was not doing the correct
transposition.
I was doing a transposition, but not the right one.
It was right in someone's throat. When there are no bar lines all of a sudden. So you have 4 beats in a bar, and then the next thing you know, you have 8 beats in the bar, and you're like, oh, this is very interesting. No lines. Great, we're free. Mm-hmm. Or then it's like, oh, you have 6 beats in this bar.
There's 6 beats in this measure.
Surprise. Yeah, that one always surprises me. I'm like, what? What's going on here? Oh, yeah. It's not me.
It's something that sort of... blows my mind, or like sort of helps me sort of interpret this era of music, is that they didn't have a word for like seconds, like as a unit of time.
Okay.
That concept hadn't happened yet. So like the shortest.
You mean like hours in the day, and seconds and minutes?
Yeah. So we have like they had hours.
Yeah.
They had minutes, and then I think they had moments.
So seconds was not in the dictionary until...
It was not a word until some time, I think in like the 1800s.
I wish we had someone sitting here that could just Google it for us.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like it's interesting because I was wondering that because in Time Stands Still, he writes like hours, minutes, and years. Is how long time stands still for, but he doesn't mention like seconds or anything. It's because they didn't have seconds, because like why would you in like 1600 why would you need a word for seconds? Because like there's not really things that you could be taught like that would happen in seconds. It's like everything was more or less rounded to like it takes about a minute or like a couple of minutes or something like that, because like they didn't have clocks, or they probably had some type of, probably not, I don't know.
I'm sure there was some sort of a... We're getting into territory
that
we really don't know about. I have to Google it.
But that's something that's interesting to me, because it sort of changes the way in which like we can look at these, because like the songs never had like, okay, you should have this many notes in like a second,
a certain amount of time. Yes. There's freedom there.
Because the idea is that like the audiences would basically say that song was maybe 3 minutes, approximately.
Do you want to try it through and then just move on to Can She Excuse?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or would you prefer to go to Can She Excuse My Wrongs and then
come back to this at the end?
Which is your preference? I'm happy to do either. If we play through this, would you like me to play through the prelude as well?
One sec. No, let's just move on. And then we can come back to this at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm just thinking about these transitions. So this forlorn never may my woes be relieved. My weary days of all joys have deprived. From the high, from the highest spar of contentment, my fortune is thrown, and fear and grief and pain for my deserts are my hopes, since hope is gone. Hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell, then to condemn light. How did those feel for you, the transitions? That like smooth?
Felt good.
Okay, yep. I'll think of them like that when we come back to it after.
Okay. Yeah, I think the way that these are written, it should really be pretty much up to the singer.
Yeah.
Because I think it follows the text. And there's lots of freedom. I think it's really interesting because like similar to Bach's music, a lot of this like you can basically just like play it exactly as it's written, and like what would be really boring for lots of other composers, it can work. Or you can like ornament it like crazy and do like really, really big dynamic changes, and I think that like they all work really, really well with the style.
Also with Bach, I love taking breaks, making sections and pausing, whereas it looks like it's through written.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Stop. Yeah, stop and go. Cool.
So I think more than anything else, I guess it's most important that you feel free
Yeah.
to sort of
Express the text.
yeah,
Because there's text hierarchy for sure here.
and definitely
happening.
to like feel it in like different ways a little bit every time. If anything feels like inspiring to you, like, oh, I want to do it this way, I think it works to do that.
I think that's why I really like Renaissance Baroque type music, because it has that emotional allowance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it asks for it. So so I like that a lot. The freedom to change are just right in between. Is there also a prelude or anything for the Can She Excuse My Wrongs?
I don't have anything yet, but you know, as we mentioned, since the part at the
bird,
end,
right?
Yeah. So
you might want. We could mishmash the bird and.
Yeah, I think that there's
cool.
definitely a way we can do it. Yeah.
So Bird wrote a song called, what was it? Something about the forest.
Will you walk the woods so wild?
And it's same. It crosses over in this. Will there be thus abused? It's still that section.
Yeah. So apparently, so Bird didn't write the original tune. It's like it's a folk tune that we've lost the words to. We no longer know what the words to Will You Walk the Woods So Wild?
Yes.
That because Bird set his version to, I think it was
harpsichord.
Originally harpsichord.
Yeah.
It's so we now have sort of like variations on the theme. So we don't know what the original words were, but we now have like a musical arrangement of it.
And we have all these variations on folk tunes.
Yeah.
And because music not being written down, everything is oral tradition, and then now music is becoming written, and it's written, so you're taking oral tradition, writing it down, and multiple composers are playing with that. It's super cool.
Yeah. So having said that, I'm not really sure how the transition from Will You Walk the Woods So Wild will fit into like an intro to Can She Excuse My Wrongs. But the other thing that's interesting is apparently the Duke or the Earl, I can't really remember who exactly, the piece that Dowland's Can She Excuse My Wrongs is believed to be based off of. Apparently he would write like an angry letter to the Queen, and then he would go off and wander in the woods to sort of like cool off. So it's an interesting sort of inclusion that Dowland included the quote from this piece of music that would describe sort of what.
Imagine the time. I'm so angry with you. I'm writing you this
letter.
I'm gonna give it to this dude to ride on a horse for 5 days or whatever to send it to you. And I go walk in the forest, and then I think, oh my gosh, why did I write that letter? I need to get that letter back. And then you send somebody else after that person and the horse.
And thus we get this poetry that he's like, can she excuse my wrongs? Because like I should not have been like,
shouldn't have done that.
I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, no take backs. No, cool.
Okay, so
I'm just gonna do the second verse because I need to go through the second verse more. So if we could just go through the whole thing once, and I'll do all second verses, I'd love that. Okay.
So what tempo feels about right for this? 'Cause I know
walking on the one, I'd say.
I think this is about.
Was I so base that I might not aspire unto those high joys which she holds from me, as they are high, so high is my desire. If she this deny, what can granted be? friend in this old cut off days. If I die, I must. Let's do that again.
You're not even really changing the tempo or anything, so it's really just that I. Is that still the same tempo? No, I'm slowing down for some reason on that measure. That feels about right. Sorry.
That's
Lots
fine.
of, lots of wrong notes in there.
Where do you want to start from? We can just do maybe 4 or 5 bars somewhere and just kind of work it together. Because whether you play it right or not, we can.
Sure.
We know where we fit in together.
Yeah. Okay.
That's more so important, I think.
Did you want to actually just take it from the top?
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah. Actually,
might as well run the whole thing.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Did you want to?
Still second verse.
Second verse. Okay.
Yeah, just second verse all the way through.
Okay.
Not the same as the first. Was I so base that I might not aspire unto those high joys which she holds from me? Can you make that like a bubble, like a brook? Bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum.
More articulate?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, well, I meant more falling into it, I think.
Okay, so more like
falling in the sense that just so that you would run through that bar, because they're not actually that important, and it does the bum ba dum ba ba. So it's no longer 1, 2, 3. This is that. Yeah.
Do I take it from the top again? Or am I?
How often have you heard the word hemiola? Like forever. So that's what I think. It's not quite where it usually is, but that's how it goes from 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2. Like there's like 2 different sections. Yeah, it's kind of like a fake one. It's fake because the emphasis goes to the 1, the 2.5, and then the 1 again.
Yeah.
So, but it's not the hemiola because hemiola is 2, 2, 2. So.
It's also not quite syncopation either.
No.
Because.
But I love it.
Or it would be like a syncopation if you thought of it starting on the second beat.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not really syncopation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of just one Can she excuse my wrongs with virtue's cloak? Shall I call her good when she proves unkind? But it's just cooler to do, shall I call her good when it's got the rhythm. Yeah.
It's a really cool rhythm.
Yeah. So it is like that syncopation bit. Okay, cool. Let's do it again. Was I so base that I might not aspire unto those high joys which she holds from me? As they are high, so high is my desire. If she this deny, what can granted be? If she will yield to that which reason is, it is reason's will that love should be just. Dear, make me happy still by granting this, or cut off till days, if thy die I must. Better 1,000 times to die than for to live thus still tormented. Dear, but remember it was I who I think I contented. One more time that. Better 1,000 times to die than for to live thus still tormented. Dear, but remember it was I who for the sake did I contented.
Yeah, I feel like it would be fun to add like another instrumental sort of interlude, which might be like a variation
I think so too.
on that. I think actually
that's what I hear right now in my head when we finished right there. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, I need to hear him now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Sting does
Sting
as
once
well.
again,
It's like there's like the like lute solo.
Yeah.
And it,
Because it transitions better into the
mm-hmm.
to the beginning.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how now that I've heard like, okay, this is a different piece of music that this like quote
Makes
comes
so
from. It's
sense,
like it
so-
feels like such a like different. It's not really like a different world by any means, but it's like, okay, this is clearly Dowland playing someone else's music. So it's like suddenly William Byrd is in the room, and also the person before William Byrd that like wrote this folk melody. So it's like suddenly like it was like the two of us and Dowland, and then there's like
someone
these
else came
other
in,
people.
and then these other people.
Yeah, and like maybe the hundreds of years sort of people singing these folk songs is suddenly like there.
That's what's really cool about oral tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely. Because Byrd wrote like lots of variations on these, so I should be able to find lots of inspiration within the style. And if I don't, I will just steal his.
Alright, can you try something?
Sure.
Can you try playing this and then this bar?
Just the measure there?
Yeah, just this measure and then that measure. And then this one. And then this one.
Yeah, I hear that this is definitely like, I think because of the rhythm is related to this. or like I guess like this one is where it first appears, and I think that it's related rhythmically, but not melodic.
That's what I think. It's cool. The
Or actually-
modulation.
Yeah, because that's the which is the what I like is that since Dowland is kind of already doing a bit of free composition, so it means that there's no purist's reason that we're not allowed to do free composition.
Can you try it again, just so I can hear it? That this, and then this, and then this, and then that. I just want to hear those 4 bars back to back.
Sure. So it'd be like a. Oh, sorry.
One more time.
Sorry.
Are you able to modulate this one up a whole tone? All of this?
So that was
Yeah. So then can you try bum bum and then bum but with the modulated?
With these ones up whole tone?
The second time. So you do this one and then this bar, and then this one when you modulate up, then you do this one also modulated up. I'm just
Okay.
playing.
Sorry, so I would be transposing it the second time after like I play through all 4 bars?
No, just the first time. Bum 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 and then modulate. I was trying to create a tapestry of the 2 together, so that it's like this back and forth, bum 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 dee 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 bum dee 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 bum bum bum. Just an idea.
Sorry,
And
yeah,
then
it makes sense.
So if it was like dun dun and then this going up to that, then it could do this there. We could even go back to the beginning. Just
Yeah,
some
it's
cool
not
ideas.
it's not the music. The musical ideas are not super complex. It's the improvising, the fingerings. Is what's tricky. Just because whenever you replace like an open string with a finger, it means that you have to change the fingering for the rest of the measure around it in order to like sustain the voices.
Yeah, like your hand is in a certain placement when you do it
Yeah.
But then when you come at it from a different chord structure, your hand's somewhere else, and so you have to kind of refix it. Let's try the whole thing through. And just see how it goes.
I think there's lots of interesting ways in which I could sort of like play around with adding variations to these, because it's kind of like it's actually kind of like a double variations piece, if that makes sense. It's like a two themes with variations, if that makes sense. Where there's kind of like the main theme, or like the main "Can she excuse my wrongs," and then the "Would you walk the woods so wild?" But there's sort of like variations on both of them.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite musical forms, but like nobody uses it anymore.
Let's write some stuff.
I think Haydn wrote like a single double theme in variations, and it wasn't a huge success. And then nobody really wrote lots of big popular double theme in variations after that. But I think it fits with like the Baroque style really well, because it's kind of like kind of similar to like a concerto, where there's like a sort of the kind of like competition between the two themes, because like these audiences at the time would have definitely known like both of these tunes.
Yes. And
been like, oh, which is more exciting? And then it's like, oh, the new one comes in and it's, oh, that's more exciting.
Yeah.
And, oh no, it's the other one's more exciting.
And I like when they though when they fight. I like when they like there's like a little jostling around, and then something else blossoms. Yeah,
I think it sort of makes everything more exciting, because there's sort of like this element of competition, but it's not really like "Can she excuse my wrongs" doesn't want like the other theme to be bad, right? It's just that it's like, no, actually I'm the more exciting one.
It is the more exciting one. Aha.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so do you want to take it from the top?
Sure.
Okay, so to confirm, just before we start, okay, so first verse whole way through, and then
you play this again, I guess, and then we. Is that okay?
Yeah.
For the moment?
Yeah. So the idea is that basically we could come through this. Did you want to do both verses each time of this, which I think is I think that makes the most sense.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you play it once alone, and then we go back to the beginning.
Okay. All right.
And then when we go to the end, then we do it 2 times again there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. And I will think about I like how I'm writing here to like add an interlude and add an intro, and then it's like it's really just like a modern sort of like pop song, where you've got basically like, okay, verse, chorus times 2, verse again,
bridge,
or like bridge, lute solo,
lute
solo, verse 2,
yeah.
Then chorus 2, and on the second chorus we don't do an instrumental version.
Yeah.
Unless we
want to.
Unless we decide that we do want to. So which
we could. We could even add in after the second verse. We could add in just you doing it, and then I come in. So yeah. If I don't sing, you know what's going on.
Okay.
Can she excuse my wrongs with her virtue's cloak? Shall I call her good when she proves unkind? Are those clear fires which vanish into smoke? Must I praise the leaves where no fruit I find? No, where shadows do for parties
about that. Let's start from right after 20, 21.
Yeah.
Thou mayst be abused if thy sight be dim.
Could we just do that one more time?
Sure.
I think it, and I'm almost certain it's me.
Thou mayst be abused if thy...
Okay, so, this...
Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. Yeah. One more time.
If it helps you,
So I think
I'm
you need to
thinking
think
that's
about
G
this
sharp.
as a break here. Bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-da-da-da.
yeah, okay, so my
Yeah.
note here is sort of like the pickup, before you,
Before I come in, yeah.
just write this, a little breath mark, but in brackets.
Yeah, because if it's part of the note before, then it halts it somehow. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah.
Okay, so from measure 21?
Sure.
Thou mayst be abused if thy sight be dim.
And no slowing down.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little bit slow there, but...
Okay. One more time.
Thou mayst be abused if thy sight be dim. Cold love is like to words return on sand, or to bubbles which on thy waters swim. Wilt thou be thus abused still, seeing that she will right thee never? If thou canst not overcome her, will thy love be thus fruitless ever? Better 1,000 times to die than for to live thus still tormented. Dear, but remember it was I who for the sake did die contented. Was I so base that I might not aspire unto those high joys which he holds for me? Ah, those clear highs, so high is my desire. If she this deny, what can granted be? No, if she will do which reason is, it is reason's will that love should be just. Dear, make me happy if will grant in this.
Yeah, let's just start all that. I was trying some things, they didn't work. Can we start again from the if she will yield to that which reason is?
Yep.
Cool.
If she will yield to that which reason is, it is reason's will that love should be just. Dear, make me happy still by granting this, or cut off delays if thy die I must. Better 1,000 times to die than for to live thus still tormented. Dear, but remember it was I for who the sake did die contented. Will thou be thus abused still, see that she will right thee never? If thou canst not overcome her, will thy love be thus fruitless ever?
Interesting. Somehow those inverted just suit the text so much better.
because I say, or cut off delays if that I die I must. Better 1,000 times to die than for to live thus still tormented, dear. But remember, it was I who for thy sake did die contented. And then it's the question, wilt thou be thus abused still? I don't. Anyway, thoughts.
Wilt thou be thus abused still, seeing that you...
Because then I'm saying it'd be better to just die. And then
Better to
I
die
ask
than
myself,
to be still abused,
yeah,
since she's never going to write me. Yeah.
yeah.
There were lots of really cool things.
And
There was
even though
a
you're still dying.
yeah. There was
Yeah.
a nice ornament, something that you were doing somewhere in here that I really liked. I don't know if it was the time that you didn't like it. Maybe it was I liked it. But I think it may be one of those things where like I liked that you were doing the ornament. It's just that I have to know sort of how to line up with it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean not do it. It means keep doing it until I get it right.
Yeah. And what's nice too about this music is if you are in some way very clear with your rhythm and you're like, I don't care what she's doing, she's gonna do something, she's gonna find me.
Mm-hmm.
If we have that trust, then I'm so free to do whatever comes to my mind. If I know that he's stable, he's got me, he's just gonna keep plunking away and eventually I'll find him again. Hopefully I'm just saying the right words. Sorry, anonymous
It feels so
poet.
it feels so like adventurous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to do the Flow My Tears
Sure.
one last time? Or do you want to look at a tiny bit of something else?
Well, if we were to look at something else, which was it that you were familiar with? Okay, so we have If My Complaints, we have Come Again, Sweet Love Doth Now Invite, which is, I really, really think Come Again is super beautiful. Musically, it's relatively simple, but technically it's very difficult for me because there's it's just relatively fast.
Yes.
But it's such like a nice tune, and there's six verses.
Weird. Did I not see it?
I might not have sent
sent it?
to you.
Okay. I will just take a scan right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Just so that we have. Next time. We don't need to rush. That's perfect. Thank you. This is so nice that this is a possibility. Perfect. Now I have the music.
All right.
We can look at something next time.
Okay.
Want to just run in the Flow My Tears and call it a day?
Sure. Did you already have a copy of If My Complaints, by the way?
I think I do, yes.
Okay. Right.
Come again.
If I want to sort of look through the other ones that I have, I think the rest of these might all be the root pieces.
It's nice for me to have the loop pieces too. Once I hear them, it's just nice to put them in especially if we're gonna check the timing.
Yeah,
Put them
that'd be
in
great.
there.
There's a really, really nice piece. It's called Aloe, and it apparently is also based on a folk ballad tune similar to the Will You Walk the Woods So Wild.
Oh.
Except that no one even knows the original tune, apparently, other than like this Dowland setting. So, as far as I know, or as far as
Where do you get this information?
I think it was from like the liner notes for like Nigel North's Naxos CD.
Okay.
And I think like I would trust him because this is like his bread and butter.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just like a guy that likes the music. And
We're just playing it. We're playing
just
at
playing
it.
the music. No, where did I?
Yeah, it's 2:40, so I'm gonna have to.
Okay.
Peace.
Do you still want me to play the prelude?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then we'll call it. So.
If you want to play the prelude,
I would love to.
you would love to
Yeah.
play. Okay. Sometimes I listen to music and I just like to move.
You're more than welcome to move around. Yeah.
We need to get Daphne in here doing some dancing as we're. My tears fall from your springs, exiled forever, let me mourn. Where night's black curtain sad infamy sings, then to me down vain lights shine you no more. No nights are dark enough for those that in despair their sad fortunes deplore. Night doth but shame disclose. Never may my woes be relieved, since pity is fled, and tears and sighs and groans my weary days are
shadows that in darkness dwell, learn to condemn happy, happy they that in hell fear not the world's despite. Hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell, learn to condemn happy, happy they that in hell fear not the world's something like that. Playing. That's fun.
I really like that.
Yeah.
There were some really nice ornaments in there. We did. I'm trying to think of where they were. I think in the very last repeat there was something somewhere in here that was nice, as well as there was something really, really nice that happened also in the that major section as well. I thought that was probably the best that it sounded so far.
The major section. Yeah, playing with rhythm, playing with filling notes, playing with taking notes away. The tough thing in this piece is that because almost every single note has a syllable on it, you can't take notes away. It shows that the only way you can ornament is by putting more notes in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay.
So the changing the rhythms, changing the note, well the note values, changing the timing when the notes even come in, more dynamics, adding extra notes, taking notes away. So yeah, I'll keep playing with that.
Yeah, I guess there's not really.
There's no melismas that don't have words on them. Oh, here, our joys have deep pride. Da 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 da. That's the only time that, and at the end, da 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 da. And I think that's actually an ornament. I don't know if that's actually, if that would be written in the actual score original. I'd like to see it. That would be cool. Could probably find it online in a digital copy somewhere.
Yeah, I think there are a few things that.
Yeah.
Are there? There were certain things that I was wondering, like some of the words, because I've heard other singers do like slightly different words, or like other ways of sort of simplifying sections of the text where it's like you could essentially say the same thing with like less syllables.
Ah, okay, yeah.
That's one thing that I've heard people do, but I can't think of an example of it right now. The only thing I could think of was like hills instead of spire.
Yeah.
Relieved
rather than relieved. Relieved. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like just certain moments where like and tears and sighs and groans, my weary days, my weary days. There's not really space to like add lots of stuff to it unless you were to do it like through the whole sequence.
Well, that's why I added the and tears and sighs Yeah, it doesn't really. The only note I could really add one note in there, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah.
My weary days, my weary days.
Now I can find. I have the somewhere in here. I have. Yeah. Okay. So this is.
Another lacrime.
Well, it's the same. It's like a loop version of I think.
Oh, it is. Okay. Then the question becomes, where does that fit in? And then I would start there.
Yeah. Okay. We could certainly do that.
And then, but then when
Which essentially.
we actually play the piece, you could also then do more.
Mm-hmm.
What about? So where does that's the end
So
of the
essentially
first
that's
section, right?
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's this?
Is not the right rhythm, but.
So that's a variation. Keep going.
And so this is the next section.
I think we could do something interesting with mixing the sections together.
Yeah. And then here we have the. I think it's this same thing.
I have to go.
Yeah. I mean, I could certainly continue playing this.
Yeah, for sure.
This type of music like all day.
The lights have changed back to red.
Yes, it's gonna remain. Stop playing.
Does that mean that it's like done? You guys are done.
It's the equivalent of like the vaudeville hook. It's like stop.
So next week at 7 next
Yeah.
Thursday.
Okay, so next Thursday. Did you want to look at? I guess we can discuss which piece we'd like to look at.
Yeah.
did you want to do would you prefer If My Complaints or Come Again?
Yeah, let's try If My Complaints.
If My Complaints?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I don't know how to stop this. Maybe I exit and we X. Are you sure that you want to stop streaming? Stop
Yes.
streaming. We are sure. Time is over. Goodbye. Goodbye.